Back with a full hour with Governor Sarah Palin. We were just talking about God a second ago and eternal ramifications. Somebody asked me, and I don't think they were serious, why don't you run? The honest answer to that, I have joked before, oh, well, you don't want me because we'd run out of missiles. Because that would be the most uttered phrase ever is, what do you mean we're out of missiles? But the real answer is I came this close to losing my soul once because I bottomed out and went down the wrong path. And excuse my voice, I'm sorry, Governor. But I needed the atonement probably more than anybody else I know. And I got it. And I made a promise I would never violate trust. I would keep my word. I would do the hard thing. I would follow, just live the 10 Commandments. Try that one out, besides. I don't think you can go to Washington and not lose your soul. I've never met somebody who went to Washington, came back, and I went, wow, you're a better person. Have you?
Come to think of it, I don't know if I have, Glenn.
How do you, because the parties, the system is so infected, how do you as an individual go in? I'm not asking if you're going to run, but let's just say you were going to run. How do you go in, and how do I, as a voter, know that you're not going to cut so many side deals to get that power, that by the time you have that power, you're no longer who we needed?
Well, I think a voter first needs to sincerely know, and it sounds impossible, but sincerely know who that candidate is, to see what their track record is and to see if they had lost their soul along the way.
Yeah, we're not even talking about track record anymore. We're not talking about how'd you vote. We're talking about trust. How do you restore trust and honor? How do we even know anymore?
That's what everybody is asking. That's what those who are conscientious and concerned about America are asking. And those who are so disenchanted and disgusted with Washington, D.C., I don't have that answer. I'm asking the same thing. How do we know that we can trust what's going on in the White House? The White House.
Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't feel that some of the things that they are doing are trustworthy.
I have to tell you that every time I bring up your name and somebody says, who's out there? I answer one of two ways. I'm waiting for George Washington to appear. And then it's usually followed by your name. And I say, but I don't know. And it's not I don't know if you're smart enough. I find this insulting. Your kids must find that extraordinarily insulting when they hear that. It's not that you're not capable or anything else. I don't know. I don't know. I can't give my trust out to anybody anymore. Every time you do, they burn you. Every time you're like, oh.
It's because we have a fallen world and mankind has fallen, and we can never put, I don't believe that we were created to be able to put our faith wholly, solely, except for our spouse, in another person, certainly not in a politician. I don't believe that, except, looking back on our founding fathers and seeing the sincerity there, the genuine love that they had of country, I don't think in recent days we can find too many of those politicians.
That's why we got to stop looking at, stop taking from the barrel and start picking from the tree. Who's your favorite founder?
Well, all of them, because they came collectively together with so much diverse,
Who's your favorite?
so much diverse opinion and so much diversity in terms of belief, but collectively they came together to form this union. No, and they were led by of course, George Washington. So he's got to rise to the top. Washington was the consummate statesman. He served, he returned power to the people. He didn't want to be a king. He returned power to the people. Then he went back to Mount Vernon. He went back to his farm. He was almost reluctant to serve as president, too. And that's who you need to find to serve in government, in a bureaucracy, those who you know will serve for the right reasons because they're reluctant to get out there and seek a limelight and seek power. They're doing it for the people. That was George Washington.
He's my favorite for that reason as well. He was the indispensable man. And that's why I say I'm waiting for George Washington to appear. Someone who doesn't want to serve, but will because he must. And someone who's so beyond question that he can bring people together and say, look, we got to do this. This is going to be hard.
That's exactly what we need to seek in a candidate. Someone, I'll repeat this, almost reluctant to serve. Someone who will not prostitute themselves and say what they believe a voter wants to hear at that time in order to get elected. But someone whom the people find and ask, will you sacrifice, will you do this for our country to get us back on the right track?
That is why I think you're on the most admired list. Because some people find you to be that. Because you came out of the blue, and you did serve, you were asked to serve, and you got butchered, and you continually get butchered, and yet you're still going.
Well, let me tell you one thing in that vein. I would be perfectly happy to go back to Wasilla, Alaska with my 5 children and my grandson and raise a happy, healthy family, loving our great outdoors, doing the things that we do in Alaska. But if I believe that in some capacity I can help this great nation, I'm going to be willing to sacrifice and to change some things in my lifestyle in order to serve.
Okay.
That doesn't have to mean, though, top dog. That doesn't have to really entail having any kind of title.
Okay, back in a second. Sarah and I would like to make an offer to NBC next.